if you are feeding saturated liquid. So suppose HF is equal to H. I look at that and I see that V prime must be V. And I then see that L prime must be L plus F. So if I'm ever got a column here where I'm feeding saturated liquid, then I have L here and I have L plus F here. I've got V prime here and I've got V prime here. And this is L. Another case that's easy to work out is, from looking at that, is if I were feeding saturated vapor, HF equals to H, I would conclude that L prime must be equal to L, and therefore V must be V prime minus F. So if I'm feeding saturated liquid or saturated vapor, I can take the L and V I've got here, get the L prime and V prime that belong here, and go do my calculation.
These are assumptions.
So that's one thing.
These are assumptions.
That's not the most interesting cases, but they're cases that are interesting as limits of some sort. I think the standard case is the case where you're putting in subcooled liquid. That's the normal case. That's certainly the case out in the lab. So let's put in subcooled liquid. Let's take that equation and fool with it briefly.
Did you copy it?
What do I want to do with this? I think what I want to do with this is write L minus L prime equals V minus V prime. And I think the thing to do is to leave that bottom H minus HF and add and subtract an H to the top, H minus H minus HF minus H. Let's see if I like that. I got H minus HF, which is what I had. I got minus H here plus H. That's right. The difference between saturated vapor and saturated liquid is lambda, the latent heat. So I write this as, the thing to do is divide that into that. Actually, the thing to do is to turn this around so it looks like that and put a minus sign. HF minus H. Now I need to put a minus sign somewhere. I'll put it there. So I'm going to put that this is, it looks like this is lambda over, it looks like it's lambda over HF minus H minus 1, it looks like. I suppose that's right. They probably, no, there's a minus sign there. So what this really is 1 minus lambda over HF minus H. That's a kind of a useful equation to relate L minus L prime and V minus V prime. And it's a very useful equation if you've got subcooled liquid feed. So let's assume that HF is equal to H minus Cp delta T. Delta T is the amount of subcooling. So if the boiling point of the stuff is sitting there at 180 like it many times is in the lab, and you're putting cold feed in at, I don't know, you're probably putting feed in at maybe 70. You get 110 degrees of subcooling, and you got to worry about that. So let's see what this becomes. It becomes 1 minus lambda. HF minus H is minus Cp delta T. So in the subcooling case, subcooled feed then tells me L minus L prime equals V minus v prime times 1 plus lambda over Cp delta t. Now you say, that's very interesting. That looks like it would be enough to go ahead and tell me everything I want to know. But if I want to have a picture of this thing, I've got to turn these equations into a picture. So the way you turn these equations into a picture that I can put on this diagram is by asking the following question. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to devise what I would call a construction line. Now, it's a construction line. I'm going to say that about 3 more times. It's a construction line. Construction line. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write YV equals XL plus YDD. And I'm going to write YV prime equals XL prime. How does this go? Minus XBB. These are my 2 material balance lines. One of them is this line right here. And the other one would be this line right here if I knew how to draw it. So it's a construction line, and its purpose is to tell me how to draw star. Star is this line right here. So I'm going to put a construction line on here that's going to tell me how to draw that line. I'm going to put a construction line on here that tells me how to draw that line. Now, if you guys think that's straightforward, you'd be surprised how easily you can be fooled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for the intersection of these 2 lines. So I write y times v minus v prime equals x times L minus L prime times, adds up to ZF. Okay, so this is a line, y equals L minus L prime over v minus v prime times x plus z times, I know what f is, it's 1 minus L prime over v minus v prime. It's a line. It's a straight line. It's got a slope, L minus L prime over v minus v prime. And if I put x equal to z, y is equal to z. So my construction line is a line going through ZZ. There's my construction line. Okay? Remember now, it's the intersection of the 2 material balance lines. So if I know that material balance line, I know that construction line, I've got to draw this guy through there. Now I have the line in the bottom. So we will come and talk about this a little more, but we're on the verge of doing something. So this is a good place to stop. So we'll stop.
God damn it.
Got a question? No.
Hey everyone, there's a AICHI meeting tonight at 6:45 in this room. There'll be free pizza.
So they want a game the other night. They didn't shoot fouls as well.